All right, back from a long hiatus of reviewing stuff.
We've seen like a couple of good things.
No, we've seen a lot of good things and a lot of terrible things, and our son turned one in
Oh,
between all this. So
big deal.
yeah, we're finally able to get back to stuff. So I'll let you start off with what you think is important.
Or, well, I'm just gonna list off what we're gonna review because I think that's kind of more important. We're gonna do Annabelle Comes Home, Child's Play, Gags the Clown, Midsummer, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, Haunt, Crawl, and so far we've seen 4 episodes of American Horror Story. And so I guess we could start off with Annabelle Comes Home.
Annabelle Comes Home. I want to give it like a solid 8 or 9. It was a really good movie.
I was gonna say like more like 7.
No, I was gonna say a solid 9 because, it brought in all the plot points. It wasn't really like,
It was creepy.
yeah, it was creepy.
It had some good jump scares. Um, I guess like, are we gonna like go or well, clearly there's going to be
I mean,
spoilers.
everybody's probably seen, and if not, they have their own opinion based on this movie already. So there's
Yeah,
nothing we can really say to change their opinion. But my personal opinion, for being a dumb-looking doll, it got me going.
the previews did no justice to this
No,
because I just remember that one preview where like, what did you touch? And she's like, everything.
yeah, and it sounded kind of silly, but then when you actually go through the list of
And
everything, you're like, oh crap, she fucked up.
yeah, it
Um,
was pretty good. Like I said, a couple of good jump scares, and
I
I
just
would.
like the combination of all the different characters into
Mhm.
the universe. So I felt that was good. It's a pretty good, all in all.
Yeah, I'd watch it again sober.
Yeah, I would. I'd watch it again a couple of times because I feel like there's always something that I missed out, especially with like the ferryman and all this other stuff that's in there, which I feel that they could literally use as their own separate movies, which I wouldn't mind hearing the details of it.
I'm sure that they're going
Yeah,
to.
I'm sure too. Now
Um,
moving on to Child's Play.
which was
Good.
surprisingly good. Like, I was not expecting it to be good. We didn't see it in
Let's address
theaters.
the giant elephant in the room. The goddamn look of the doll. That's what it was. The look.
It
The look. It was the look and the voice, because you're expecting Chucky's voice or something close to it. Same thing with the aesthetic look. That's literally what it comes down to. The look and the voice.
yeah.
And there was the departure of the voodoo element in it.
Yeah.
There was no mystic element. There's no supernatural element. It was all
Just
modern.
literally some like pissed off worker.
Yeah, it was all modern technology gone wrong.
Yeah, and like I think that's what made it good was like it obviously this type of technology isn't existing right now, but it's something that I could see happening
Well,
like
I mean,
within the
like,
next 10
if you take
years.
safety protocols off of something like a machine that, you know, presses down metal, but it's known not to press down metal if there's like an organic component or a safety, and you bypass it, and your coworker gets on there because you're pissed off, it's gonna smash them. So that's what I thought of it. Like I work in industrial places that have a lot of safety precautions, but if an angry person then knew how to take all these off, somebody would get hurt. That's exactly what happened. I think a lot of people got mad because there was no supernatural element to it.
Uh,
But if they
I
would have,
didn't mind that.
I didn't mind it either because I didn't want it to be like a copy of the first movie because then it would just be like a weird remake. This had its own little twist to it.
Yeah,
But
it was definitely caught me off guard that I enjoyed it so much. But
Audrey Plaza plays a surprisingly hot, distraught single mom in
Aubrey
need of a
Plaza plays a
husband.
trash fucking mom. She's over here choosing dick over her baby.
I think she just needs the right kind of guy to
I'm gonna
just.
fucking slap
Well,
you.
well, going back. Now we're going to what? Gags the clown.
Like Gags the clown. Also, surprisingly good. I
When she told me let's watch Gags the clown, I literally said, "Gags, you're a clown for making me choose that." But you know what? It was good. It was like passive. What is it? Pacifier?
No, Terrifier.
Terrifier. Sorry.
Terrifier was much worse. Or, well, like, gory and shit. Like, Gags the
Well,
Clown was more supernatural.
Terrifier
Terrifier
was all based on the
gross.
personality of the clown. You actually got to meet the clown, see the clown interact. He had a personality. When Gags the Clown, you really don't see anything about him. It's just
He's literally like a supernatural
Yeah.
being. And that's something like that I think is missing with Terrifier. Like Terrifier was just like some fucked up dude in like a clown costume and shit.
But then he has like some supernatural elements towards
Yeah.
the end, which thoroughly enjoyed, but not
Yeah.
to take away from Gags the Clown. Going back to it, a little bit of shitty acting, a little bit of shitty camera work.
I enjoyed the camera like effects and camera work, to be honest.
I mean, it looked like a glorified YouTube video
I
that you
like
would
YouTube
watch.
videos.
I know you do. That's why I was. To me, I was like, really though. But
Well,
I mean, it was. I'm not complaining. It was a good movie, and I would watch it again for sure.
yeah, definitely, because like basically the premise of the movie is like he's like infecting people almost like
Well, you don't know because it's a supernatural effect, but then you've got this like powder. So is it like a dude? But then it's making it. You could go either which way. You could make it a crazy dude who knows about chemistry, bath salts, turning people crazy,
yeah,
or it's
they
really,
mentioned bath
or it's
salts.
really this dude who's come back from the 1960s or something.
I think it was the 70s.
70s.
But
something like that.
anyways, it was it definitely had a supernatural element that Terrifier
That could
was
or couldn't-
missing.
You could go either which way, depending on what you want to view it as, which is an open ending that I like.
Yeah, and I'm really hoping that they do a sequel to
Me too.
touch more on the actual character. Terrifier is getting a sequel. Like, come on, you better give Gags
Yeah.
the Clown a sequel.
I mean, all the clowns are getting movies.
Yeah.
I heard your ex is getting one. It's just everybody's getting one. All the clowns.
Bitch.
Now going on to the most disappointing movie for me,
Midsommar.
my biggest disappointment.
So, my second favorite movie is Hereditary. Of all time is Hereditary. And the same guy that did Hereditary did Midsommar. So I had very high
I
expectations.
didn't have high hopes. I just assumed it was gonna be cut from the same cloth. Which, visually speaking, yes. Acting wise, yes, a little bit. I just don't like the fact that they introduced that one douchey kid and they made it like a generic horror movie when they could have like done it so much better. But anyways,
Yeah.
this was just a glorified couple's breakup story, which Hereditary in the beginning was about a couple struggling,
Mm-hmm.
but they were struggling because so many supernatural elements were thrown against them.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like this one took advantage of mental health issues.
It
And-
introduced like the sister or whatever
Yeah.
that had bipolar disorder and killed her parents.
Yeah, and like the lady
And
was just
herself.
way too needy in the beginning, and it made me not like her lead character to begin with, because I was just like,
She reminded me of me.
I was just like, really? Like, this is how you want to live your life right now? Like, I
Well-
understand the time of mourning, da 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 da, but like, if you are in so much mourning as you speak of, why are you gonna go on a trip? Or maybe if you're gonna go on a trip and you decide you're gonna do it, how about you let go of all that other stuff? But I am digressing on it. I've just found a lot of problems with it.
I honestly
with the
related
lead
to
characters.
I honestly related to that lead character because like I know if I had some terrible tragedy, I'd be like, you know what would be good? I'm gonna go to this other place. I'm gonna go like get my mind off of it. But of course it's not gonna happen, especially if she has pre-existing mental issues. So I think it just like swirls out of control once they start introducing drugs. Like this movie had so much drug use, like it's not overt, like take all these drugs so you could have a good fucking time, you know? But
I thought it was delivered eloquently the drug usage of it. It was
Yeah,
more of
it
a
was different.
ritualistic drug usage instead of like teenage angst,
Mm-hmm.
drug or drinking stuff. Um, I don't know. It was just a big disappointment. Visually, it was kind of a letdown. Also, just based on Hereditary, how I enjoyed it. I think the dudes went a little too crazy on the wafting effects of the drug usage. I felt like it was a at some points like a parody music video of Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Well, I've never done those types of drugs, so I would.
Well, that you don't know what kind of drugs these are. They're
Well, I've never taken
yeah, they're
hallucinogenics.
assumed to be hallucinogenics, but everybody else, this is their first time partaking of the festival, but they weren't tripping out as bad.
Yeah.
But these are city kids that have like done drugs and drank, and so it was
Yeah.
kind of hard for me to like.
Either way, it was definitely different. It of course touches somewhat on witchcraft.
It dabbles in it, but again, you're going back to the rural ritualistic kind of stuff of the country, facing to the city, and then facing to different ideologies where like they have their own set ways, and then new ways, and she gets mad and pissed off, and it turns her into a vindictive
The girl, the
girl.
main character.
Yeah, and it leaves a bad taste in my mouth because
You know what? I enjoyed this movie much more than you did because I relate to this character so much, I guess. Like when she realizes, like in parts of the movie, like she's going through this emotional turmoil, and instead of going through it by herself, like surrounded by these people who are mimicking her pain to show, like, I feel your pain, like, and like they're literally like screaming and just like doing the same type of things that she's does when she's like flipping the fuck out, and like I don't know, I just enjoyed that. It was somewhat gory. There was a
I
part that kind of like
I
I
don't
was just
think it
like, what
was.
the bit?
I don't think it was gory. To be honest with you, we're gonna be adding some
Mm.
things that we
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
hadn't at the intro because
That
she
we
just
forgot.
remembered that we saw it too, and then I just remembered that I saw Three from Hell,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
which was amazing to me. But anyways,
Yeah. Anyways,
Midsummer for me terrible. I wouldn't watch it again.
I would watch it again. I was very drunk when I watched it,
I
so
was
I would.
not drunk, but I was like buzzed, and it wasn't enjoyable for me. Like it literally like her whining and her constant like it wasn't even like good whining, it just killed my buzz. Like if I was a concerned boyfriend, I would have been like, I'm out of here.
Okay, let's continue.
Okay.
Scary stories to tell in the dark. Um,
I
it
give it a 9.
was what?
Yeah, I give it a 9. You're telling me that a CBS based branch off
I don't
of
remember this.
terrible goosebump ish stories got amalgamated into all this, and then they regurgitated on like a big screen event. The effects for the Scarecrow were fantastic.
Oh, he was amazing.
All the child actors were delightful. I didn't find any of them terrible.
Well,
And the one who
Ramon was supposed to be like
you talking about the
of
bad kid?
the bat. No, Ramon. Like he's the other main character. He's
Oh
supposed to be
yeah,
Mexican.
he's supposed to. You know what? But again, she was like,
He looked.
we both were like maybe Middle Eastern, because that's what the first vibe I got. But hey, you know what? There's a lot of Mexicans out there, and we all don't look the same. So once they told me he's a Mexican, I sealed it in. I was like, he is a Mexican, even though there's no Mexican accent or whatever. Anyways, I don't have a Mexican accent, so I felt like I was being too judgmental about it, so I let it go, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It was just a good ride for me. All the effects were on point. There was nothing too cheesy. As a matter of fact, I think the effects for them seemed a lot way better than Midsummer.
Well, yeah, because Midsummer wasn't meant to be that way. I remember I read the books when I was little. I wasn't scared by the books when I was little. I just loved them. It was
Yeah, I
a
wasn't.
comfort.
I read the books, and it's like I said, it's like a goosebump thing. You don't
Yeah.
read them, and you don't really get scared, but like you're like, oh my god, this is interesting. But
Well, I the only story that I really remember was the toe story
and that
from
was
the
kind of
book.
gross because you see the toe, and it's
Oh
like a beef
yeah,
stew, and like it's gross,
yeah,
but
like
not gross to like enough where you're like, I don't want to see it. How some movies are like extra gory, but it knew the right amounts of boundaries to cross. Like Jen is totally scared of like crawling thingies, but in this movie she was scared enough to keep watching because it wasn't ultra violent where like it was really trying to flay and like freak people out. It was just enough for you to recognize it was scary and keep looking at it, but kind of turn away a little bit when you knew.
it had a new element that I'd never seen because, like he said, I have this thing where I don't like crawling things. I don't like when they're on the wall crawling. I don't like when they're on the ceiling. Like, no, that once that happens, I'm just like, I'm not about this anymore. And in here, they introduced like that this monster could like break his body apart and then put himself back together because and so like he really doesn't have any boundaries anymore, so it's like
Well, because
Ramon
like
was in a cage.
well, like because I told her like it's supposed to be the fears, and he's talking about like the brother came back in body parts, like a body bag full of parts. That's what is, and he's literally yelling traitor, like the draft dodger. You know, that's why he's chasing after him.
Yeah,
If you haven't seen the movie, which I think is a really good representation of his fear, which ultimately he doesn't end up being afraid of it, but he knows it's gonna kill him, so he's running because he takes steps where like he's like, yeah, I'm gonna try to. But anyways,
yeah,
good movie. The ending was like, yeah, but you know, all in all, better than a lot of the stuff that I've seen out there for a CBS kids horror movie themed thing. I think it did really well with what it was meant to work with. Whoever was in charge of that creative team, well, applause to them.
okay, I'm gonna pause this real quick. Okay, I'm sorry, I had to get this cool fucking Lucas straw I forgot I had. Anyways, so the next movie was Haunt. You didn't see that, right?
Yeah.
You
Hunt,
did?
terrible
Oh,
fucking
yeah, yeah.
Eli Roth movie. Just fucking terrible.
I didn't
Just-
know Eli Roth did that, but
just fucking horrific, terrible. Fucking the worst out of all of them. One, I didn't see Crawl, which was kind of terrible when I saw it, but I sat through Haunt, and it was pretty
Because-
fucking bad.
because we sat through Haunt because my older brother and my cousin and they both were like, "Oh, that's a really good movie. It was scary." And so
No,
when
it
we
wasn't.
when we started watching it, we were really expecting.
It's scary if you don't
Yeah.
know how to like wipe your butt. Like, oh my god, that dude really doesn't wipe his butt.
My
He's
cousin
got duty
and my,
butt.
my cousin and my brother don't have duty butt.
I'm not saying they do,
You just
but
said
I'm
that.
just saying
Anyway.
if duty butt is a fear of yours, then Haunt was scary for you.
Okay. Anyways.
Or if you don't shake your wee wee after you pee and you got pee pee stains on your pants,
That's not good.
then you'll be scared of this movie. If you don't wash your hands after you fucking poop or go to the restroom, then this movie's scary to you. Or not really. I guess if you don't do that, the movie's scary. But yeah, terrible fucking movie.
It really didn't have any redeeming qualities about it.
I'll give you my quick little synopsis of it. Bunch of fucking teenagers
Surprise.
go into this haunted house where they're told to sign contracts, where their phones are taken away and locked off, but you know it's fucking empty as hell. You're going around, and it's just like, first off, I'm not giving anybody my cell phone. Secondly, I'm not signing any goddamn contract, which they did not clearly read all the way fucking through. Just clearly. And if they're teenagers, they don't have any legal right to be signing any legal documents without a guardian.
I thought they were in college.
I don't know, whatever. It seemed like a teenage movie. They were all talking about teenage stuff. No,
It just it
it
they
was terrible.
okay. So the premise of the story is that they go to a haunted house, and they start basically being murdered. They think it's gonna be a regular ass haunted house where they're not gonna be able to like touch the actors. Actors aren't gonna touch them, and then all of a
Well,
sudden they're
the contract says that if they, in any way, shape, or form, break any of the rules, they're not responsible for what happens to them. And what happens is that one of them ends up touching one of the actors. That no one voids the contract of them being safely escorted through the haunted house. So once the dudes touch that one other dude, that's when everything ensues. And
it was just not like it's got some like they're supposed to be shocking and scary, but I guess that we're old enough that we've seen this all. Maybe like if we were like
well, it was
10
his.
years younger.
It was like his hostile movie, and then he decided to make the guys already in masks, covered, mysterious, into sideshow freaks that were maimed by the same people, and then forced to work there.
It
It
just
just, yeah, I was like, okay.
it wasn't good.
And then the girl escapes, and then this one dude who clearly has gotten away scot-free from this big old murder spree decides to go and kill the one girl, but this one girl's rambled up her fucking house and ends up getting the dude with sticky mousetrap glue. I was like, okay, so where did you go to get industrial adhesive to trap somebody on your floor?
It just
Yeah, I was like,
do not recommend.
I mean, if you want to waste some fucking time, and if you're scared by sideshow clown people who, you know, alter their faces with silicone implants and scarification, then yeah, this will scare you.
Basic shit that you're gonna see in any
Anywhere,
city.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you're scared of people with scarification, then you're scared of people that make bad choices, and that's about everybody.
Yeah. Okay, so that's it for
So-
Haunt. It's just like
Her going to crawl, which I have no input to. It's an alligator. I saw bits and pieces of it.
It
Half of the
was-
time I was going, "What is she doing?
No,
what the
okay.
hell's going on?"
Let me
But
tell you.
She'll tell you.
Let me tell you, Crawl is a terrible movie. I had no clue what it was about. I was drunk already. I was just like, let me watch Crawl. And so basically, it's a daughter. She's trying to get to her dad's house, like in a hurricane or something. I don't know. It's becoming flooded. I think it's in Florida. That's why there's gators everywhere. And
Or it could be the wall where Trump decided he was gonna throw gators and snakes. I don't know.
who knows? But anyway, so she gets to the house and like I was drunk, okay?
It's just terrible. You could probably just stop it
Well,
right there.
it was terrible, but like she does get to her dad, and like I think he's injured or something. I don't know. The place is.
I remember that
becoming
he was
flooded.
like, he was injured. I remember I saw that part, and she started like trying to carry him, like through the crawl space, and then this gator or
came.
crocodile, I don't know the difference, started chasing him, and he was like, and she's like, ah, god damn it, and I was all like, what the hell is going on here? Why is that even dude in here? Like, this is not the natural predatory. Like, is he on crack? Tell me he ate bath salts at least, or he's powered by Florida meth.
That's strong, from
And-
what I've heard.
Yeah.
But so
Or some dude named fucking,
Chad.
yeah, that was his attack crocodile, and he escaped.
So the main thing that I want to take away from is that both characters deserve to die because they're both fucking stupid. There was one scene where she traps an alligator or crocodile, whatever, inside of like a sliding glass bathroom, and like he's doing his death roll in there, and like for some reason that glass is
Just holds the fuck
Yeah.
up. That must have been one of those old people glass thingies that I hear about on my old timey radio thing. Like, you don't want to fall down?
Oh.
Go get a fucking badass thing. But
Yeah,
whatever.
it just
Yeah.
wasn't good. I think I was tweeting. I don't know. I had a tweeter, but I
Yeah,
just Twitter.
Twitter.
And I forgot the password, so it's somewhere out there. I was telling them they should die, but whatever. Crawl is bad. Don't waste your time. Drink whatever you are drinking and watch a fucking YouTube video other
Now,
than crawl.
jumping to It Too,
Oh, it too.
which she went to go see in movie theaters and I did not.
I'm sorry.
Which I'm like
It
kind
was
of
a
okay that
it was
I
a
didn't go
girls'
see.
night. It was a girls'
No,
night.
no, but I was like okay that I didn't go see it because I don't know.
Mm, I've read some of the book, and so again, this is very full of spoilers. In the like one of the opening scenes, I think the opening scene is when they're at the carnival, and there's the same sex couple, and they're both beat.
Yeah, that was a very like
If you didn't know that was coming, it was gonna be very disturbing.
that wasn't no, it wasn't disturbing or scary to me. That was just very
terrible.
like it lit me up. It upset me. I was more upset when the movie began because just the climate that we're at right now, the ambience and everything that's going on, that's a real thing. And if
It was very familiar.
anything would have happened that I would have been around with, I would have like tried to intervene as much. So it really set me on fire. So when that happened, I was just like, I swear, if it is part of this, I need some kind of like homophobe. It's just gonna upset me.
Yeah, and this was part of the book. So when I read that part of the book, I remember I was getting tattooed, and I just started crying because it was just so sad and so disturbing. I had to tell the guy, I'm not crying because I'm getting a tattoo. It's because of this book. And I literally like just couldn't continue from that point. And so when I was in the theater with with my friends, one of them literally started crying because it was just so sad and disturbing. It starts off the movie reintroducing Pennywise to show that he's come back, and it definitely leaves a lasting impression, clearly. But then the rest of the movie, like, I never finished reading it because it's just a big fucking book. I, like, read Pet Cemetery instead of it because it was much shorter. But, it's different from the original movie that they put out. I think It Too now it's subpar.
All I want to say is like, y'all really had McAvoy. Y'all had this other
Bill
hater.
Hader, yeah.
Y'all had
Jessica
all these.
Chastain.
Yeah, y'all had Chastain on there. Y'all had and the other dreamy guy in there.
Oh yeah, he's
Like y'all had all these fucking people in here. But y'all want to give me some bunk ass, busted ass, dusty ass effects
no.
for Pennywise towards the end. There were some busted ass. When I saw the first hit, I was like, this is gonna be it. It's gonna break the first hit. But then the second it came out, and I was all like, Tim Curry's effects were way better, and there were old ass effects things. Like nothing can beat the shower scene where he fucking comes out of the shower and he's all like, they could have given me some more, except they gave me some saggy titted lady running across the room. And then they didn't even make her creepy realistically. They turned her into like this big
old lady with floppy titties.
Yeah.
Which is kind of scary, but
it's
not in
because,
a horror movie.
Yeah, not. It wasn't a good.
It's just like, Grandma, put your shirt on.
It wasn't a good effect. Like even if I saw that in realistically life, I would be like, what the fuck? Not like, I'm scared. I'd be like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah. But you know what? He didn't enjoy it as much as I did, and maybe it's because I saw it in theaters where I had to like focus in because I wasn't drinking, because a margarita is like 12 or 13 bucks.
The effects on the table where they're all gathering together, they were all terrible.
I thought that was okay. Like, I appreciated that scene because I'm glad that they kept it. So clearly it must be in the book if it's still in this movie.
You know what? I don't... To me, the book is opposite. I'm going based on movie-wise. And I was just like... that you have so many avenues to go through. And this is what you decide you're going to go through. Like, I don't know. I'm
I
sure it had. I'm sure, and I know that it had symbolic different meanings for every different character. But even at that, it was just terrible. And I'm just gonna say the whole fact that they decided to kind of throw the whole Bill Hader's gay at the end, but didn't really say it, just
yeah.
was an insult to me. And I'm not gay, but it was an insult to me. It's like if they would have like showed one of the characters and then they would have showed like a Mexican flag in his car. Like, oh, so they're trying to say he's Mexican?
I'm gonna touch up on that on the next review. But anyways, so I I feel like I enjoyed that movie much more than he did.
I would have watched it
Some
again.
I would watch. That's gonna be my new drunk go-to movie because he doesn't like it. But anyways, I
I'd watch the first one
enjoyed.
again, but not that one.
Yeah, we watched the first one a lot. But I enjoyed like each character having their own little story that they have to go through. Ben is a hottie patati in this new movie. But I really enjoy like that they touch on these other like backstories that they didn't go through in the first film. Um, I'm upset that they I don't know if in the book, but I'm upset that they didn't touch on like this gay like this
They
that
only hint at it at the arcade, and then
yeah,
he gets shamed on it.
hint. And so when Pennywise and like this characters,
secret.
yeah, I was like, what's his secret?
I
Like,
knew what his secret was.
but like also like it's like they're supposed to forget everything, but then like when he returns, he remembers he's in love with him. Like, I'm just like, I don't think that's how that works. But okay. But anyways,
Well, because I was upset about that too. Because what gives Fat Boy McGee the right to keep onto the love letter and keep
yeah,
being in love with fucking
redhead.
terrible lady, but Bill Hader, gay man, can't be in love with Jewish gay man throughout the whole thing. What is up with that?
It's not Jewish gay man.
He is. He has the he was the little.
Oh yeah, he was in
He
the
was.
Okay. Yeah,
How was
sorry.
that not thing? They
I'm
shared
sorry.
and they were together. That's why they always, fed off of
Anyways.
each other. I thought it was a cute relationship that was already beginning in the first movie. So I was like, so they don't get to kind of have like a little
No, they don't. They
thing,
don't. They don't get their
or-
time.
Yeah, and like the more I
And
think
it's
they would have like
upsetting.
mourned a little bit more. So then they both die. I don't know. It was
Yeah,
just
because like the other characters at the end after he dies. After he dies, Bill Hader's character is weeping in this same like water hole from the first movie, and they're just like, what's going on? But anyways, when they do kill Pennywise, and the way they kill Pennywise is like,
very anticlimactic.
yeah, like they're just like telling him like you ain't shit, bitch,
And
basically.
Pennywise, I think, is just his character was so undermined. Like he didn't have a great reveal. He didn't have a good, like in the first one where he had a like fucking, like even when he comes back, he doesn't come back, and there's not like this great scene. There's no great scene where he comes back.
No,
There's no great scene.
no, but okay.
Like what is your great scene from the first movie? If you were to say like, oh, that's the Pennywise scene.
Well, I think about like the shower scene, like
No, I'm talking about the new movie.
Oh,
Then
this
for the
new one.
movie, the first movie is when they're back down there, the circus camper busts down and the show starts playing, and he comes out and he's dancing.
That's what that like out of the two movies. That's what you remember.
From
like
the first, from the first movie, that's his scene.
That's what you take away.
No, that's his scene. Like he has other scenes where he's scary, like the Georgie one in the beginning where he
Yeah.
chops off, and then the balloon one where like he literally scares everybody. But then his big main scene towards the end is where like he busts out, he does this whole little dance thing, and he gets her, and like he deadlights her.
Yeah,
But then in the second film,
he doesn't really.
he doesn't really have anything
Yeah.
that like he does great. Like how in the other movie where like
He had a defining moment.
yeah, and he doesn't have a good movie. I don't know.
Well, in this second movie, it too, like I guess my defining moment for him is when he is in like the fun house with the little boy, and like he's just like fucking that like
I
window
think
up.
if for me, if I had to pick a defining moment for him and the thing would be when the little girl has this innocent moment and the firefly
Oh,
moves her up and he's all like trying to pander to her.
yeah,
That was I was like, okay, this is gonna show me, and then after that, it just did never show me anything other than that. Which
yeah.
I am. You can continue. I'm gonna go. What I know what you're gonna. I'm gonna get another beer, but you can continue.
Okay. Well, yeah. So the next one we are going to discuss is Three from Hell. It's a Rob Zombie movie. It is a sequel to
I know it's not a sequel.
a
It's
threequel
yeah, three cool.
to who? What is it again?
Well, first off, it's
is
House
it
of a Thousand Corpses,
Devil's
and
Rejects?
then Devil's Rejects. Yes.
Okay. It.
So it's a trilogy.
Let me tell you something. I don't like Rob Zombie movies except for the one with
What is it? 21, 31, something like that.
31.
31.
Yeah. That's it. Like I'm not a big Rob Zombie movie fan. I think he goes on his own little tangents. I don't like it. And I think Sherry Moon Zombie terrible. But anyways,
What? Oh, I don't know what more you expect from 1960s, 1970s horror. I really don't know. There's nothing wrong with it. I liked it. It's about serial killers. Uh, the first movie had a lot of ups and downs because it was the beginning of it. So a lot of supernatural elements in there, a lot of different things. Second movie was a little bit more, true grit. And this third one, I don't have a problem with it. I liked it. Liked all the characters, the endings of it. I don't know. There was nothing where I could have gone like, why is he making this movie?
really?
Yeah.
Like the Mexico scene where for some reason all the Mexicans were wearing Day of the Dead makeup.
Yeah, but this is again, we're going back to this isn't like a politically correct now 2000s movie. This is a grindhouse movie. This is like a.
Am I too young for Grindhouse? Because I didn't enjoy that movie either.
I was just like,
By Robert Rodriguez.
I enjoy this grindhouse movies. It's violence, gore, unsolicited
Titties.
craziness, yeah, and
Oh.
titties, and I just was like, yeah, this is all everything I remember from childhood horror movies. Scariness mixed in with some kind of sexual tones, and then mass murderers or supernatural creatures. So I was like, yeah, okay, good job. A lot of the younger kids might want some YouTube in there. Maybe, I don't know, some cell phones.
We're literally 2 years apart. So when you're like younger kids, I'm just.
Well, I could go through a back catalog of Mexican horror movies that I saw with luchadors and fighting stuff. Again, 2 years makes a big difference, I guess.
I guess so.
But yeah.
I was born in '88, by the way. Okay, so I guess the last thing is American Horror Story, which I've actually been enjoying much more than.
I love it.
I think it's like the last 2 seasons that were kind of just not good, which was the Trump season. I don't remember what it was called. And then the Apocalypse season.
I didn't like the Apocalypse. I didn't like the Trump. I didn't like the Witch one.
Oh, I loved
I didn't like the Hotel one with Lady
Hotel?
Gaga.
Lady Gaga can get it.
She can get it, but she didn't get it there. I'll tell you that.
Oh, Lady Gaga got it in the first episode.
Let's see. I honestly just even the clown one, the circus one, didn't fucking like it. I didn't. It was fucking terrible. I just liked the haunted house one.
This first season.
Yeah, but even at that, like it seemed like I didn't even watch the Roanoke one.
You know what?
I didn't even watch it.
I didn't watch all of the episodes, so whenever people like talk about Roanoke, I'm just like, mm-hmm.
Oh, like yeah, and I'm just like, yeah. I didn't even like, never an interest to it. That's how terrible it was to me.
It was pretty bad. Like, and you know what? I have a genuine interest in
In
Roanoke.
Roanoke, yeah, me too. That I'm genuine, but yeah. Okay, now going back to the first one, I tolerated it, but it had too much teen angst. It felt like some kind of Twilight episode. So now in this one, straight up 80s slasher.
I still
And
listen to My Chemical Romance, so I'm still fully in touch with my teenage angst. And so that is, I guess, why I still feel that the first season will never
I don't
have
know.
like, it will always be number one for me.
It wasn't even like the correct whiny. It was just, I don't know. It was good. Don't get me wrong. For a TV series that had a lot of plot twists. I like the plot twists a lot.
And they show his butt. But anyways, in the first season, first episode, when he's
And I'm
jerking
just
off.
glad that what's his name isn't in this season.
Oh, Evan Peters?
Yes.
You know
Thank
what?
you.
I'm okay with Evan Peters not being in this one because I think his name is Zach Vila. Oh my god. He's the guy that plays the Night Stalker. Night Stalker, he's not like I hate saying favorite serial killer.
He's my favorite serial.
He's not my favorite serial killer, but but he's one of the top ones that I'm interested in. And so I'm excited that he's been introduced into this series, and I'm excited that on his IMDb he is literally listed for all of the episodes. So I'm just like, Richard Ramirez is getting his spotlight. Clearly it's not what really happened, but people are like learning a little bit more about Richard Ramirez.
I don't condone serial killer glorifying at all, but at the same time,
Get better idols.
I grew up enjoying serial killers. So if you like them, I'm not shaming you, but I'm not condoning other kids to get into it. I got into it because I started reading stuff and I genuinely enjoyed it.
Yeah.
TV wasn't an influence for me on it. It was just me literally reading stuff up, and I was like, oh, I want to learn more about this. So, you know.
Yeah, so let's actually get to the actual plot point, because like the whole series is not about Richard Ramirez.
I don't know what the plot point is. I just know it's 80s slasher themed with 80s slashers killers, and I don't know where it's gonna go from right now.
That's kind of the theme right now, because there was the whole, what was it, Jason Voorhees, he had Camp Crystal Lake, and so the story like takes place at a summer camp. It's in 1984. We've got our stereotypical young adults. I'm not saying teenagers. I'm gonna say like late teens,
because they're all
20s.
in college now.
Yeah, so late teens, early 20s, and they all go to be camp counselors. And there's
they all have their own little
they have their thing.
demons that they want to get away from the city.
And so like they go to this
and they're all attractive because it's like the 80s California, and they're all worried about their looks.
Yeah, and so Montana is literally like the hottest character aside from the Night Stalker, because she's like all about aerobics and whatnot.
Well, I thought Ruth, the black nurse, was like
She's
the hottest one there.
Rita, I thought her name was.
Yeah, there you go,
Rita.
something like that. But yeah,
she, you know what, I take that back. She is the hottest one. Like, she can get it. But anyways, aside from that, like this whole series is like just playing into the whole slasher like thing. It's got like the whole murdering a whole camp by Mr. Jingles. Mr. Jingles is captured, and now these unknowing teens
well,
go.
it's a, I wouldn't say more Jason Voorhees. It's more like a Michael Myers-esque guy, if anything, because Jason Voorhees was dead already to begin with.
He's
So this guy's a guy that gets thrown into like a supernatural-esque way. So I wouldn't say more Jason. If anything, that's wrong. It's be more Michael Myers, and then you start to think it's not supernatural, but then it takes the turn there, and you're like, okay, cool, I'm enjoying this.
Yeah, and so we saw right before this the fourth,
which I called it because we just saw the fourth one, and I said I think this is gonna be a cross between Halloween and Pumpkinhead.
I don't think I've ever
And
seen
you,
Pumpkinhead.
yeah, you said you never seen Pumpkinhead, but it's a thing where like it looks like it's gonna be like just a straight up killer thingy, but then it turns supernatural. Hence with Pumpkinhead.
Okay, well, either way, it's really good. Richard Ramirez in real life was a Satanist. That was part of his killings. Like, he would leave, like, Satanist type things at his murder
Inaccurate
scenes.
satanic things.
Yeah,
but
very
yes,
inaccurate. Like, come
he
on.
didn't read up on
Come on,
the
Ramirez.
satanic
Like, get
stuff.
with the program. But anyways,
He was in California. The Church of
And-
Antoine LaVey
and
was
a-
there. He could have literally gone to it.
he
but
was
didn't.
on a lot of drugs.
Yeah, I know. But
He-
again, I like the fictional, or like, yeah, the fictional Robert Ramirez more than the,
the real.
yeah, like I think
Richard.
they're doing it better, yeah.
Well, fun fact. Madonna was visiting. I think her boyfriend at the time. Don't quote me. I think it was Sean Penn. She was visiting him in jail. Like, I think he was in county or something. And Richard Ramirez was there also, and she asked him who he was, or she asked her boyfriend who she was visiting who he was, and like he said he was the Night Stalker, and was like, gasp, like. Madonna thought he could get it too, because the real Richard Ramirez was.
Well, he had that je ne sais quoi about him.
I don't know what that means. Yeah, like the only thing.
Alright, man, wrap it up. We're hitting the 30 mark here. What else you gotta say?
It's way more than 30 because we had that first video. Like,
Yeah.
I think we're reaching an hour. I really don't care because, yeah. So, back to it. Annabelle Comes Home, recommend. Child's Play, recommend. Gags the Clown, recommend. Midsommar, I recommend. He doesn't recommend. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
It's a good movie to watch when you're bored and you got nothing else to do.
Do it while you're high. Tell me how it is. Haunt, no. Crawl, no. It Too, I do. 3 from Hell, I do not.
I do. Watch it. If you're a Rob Zombie fan and, like I said, a fan of, like, serial killer stuff.
I guess. American Horror Story, I'm saying yes so far.
So far, episode
So
4.
far.
And you got me 4 episodes interested. So, yeah.
Way to go, guys.
All right. Well,
Watch us, leave comments, subscribe.